So now that we have worked on the first and the second and the third steps, now it's time to work on the fourth step, which is storing data in a file. Because what's the point of getting the data and just displaying the data? I think it's better to get the data and then store it in a specific file, and then you can use that file or look at that file later. If you don't want to do that, it's okay, but you would have, each time you would have to make the request over and over again to get data from a website. And the script, I think, is not going to be, isn't going to be complete. It's better to get the data once and then you have that data and you can look at it or modify it later. So how can we store data, the cleaned data, in a file? Well, first let me run the script one more time to show you the result. As you can see, this is the result. What we are going to get is that we are going to get the URL and the title, but here we have, this is a test text. We need to get rid of this. The reason why we have this is because in the functions, remember we called this, we need to remove this read data. And we need also here to add, need to add this this space after the text. So here I'm gonna say print and nothing, and then I'm gonna run our script one more time, and it's gonna be cleaner. As you can see, we have the URL and then we have the title, and you can even add more text to that text. So you can here say URL and then plus, and then here you can also say title. And by the way, you can, of course, you can print out the title before the URL. So it's up to you. Let me save and run our script one more time to show you that it's going to look awesome. As you can see, we have the URL and we have the title, and then we have the URL and then we have the title. So how can we store the URL and the titles that we got from that script in a file? Well, let me show you that. Let me show you how you can do that, how we can store the data in a file. So in order to do that, we need to call the write to file. We need to call this write to file function in order to be able to append something to a file. But we first need to create that new file and then write to it, and then write to file, because I want to follow best practices. So I'm gonna first create that new file, and also we need to make sure that that file exists. So you can here say if, and then functions, and then does file exist. So we need to copy this this function, and then here I'm gonna paste it, and then we need to pass the path where we want to store our data. So first we need to pass the directory. Remember, the directory is this common code, and then I'm gonna append plus, I'm gonna append /, and then the file name, let's say articles, and then .txt, and then if that file exists, then we just need to create that, we just need to write to it. So we can here say write functions, and then write, let me copy the function, write to file. So write to file, I'm gonna paste it here, and then here we need to pass the directory, which is obviously this one. Let me copy it, this directory, and I'm gonna paste it here. And then the second parameter, remember, the second parameter is data. We need to pass the data. Each time, let me show you that, each time we get a URL and title, we need to get these two and store them in the in this write to file, in this file, in this articles file. So I'm going to create here a new variable called article formatted, and it's going to be equal to the to this line, and then plus, and then I need to add a new line, and then the second line will be, well, this will be this title, and then article. So here it's going to be article, it's going to be URL, and then the title. And now we can pass this article formatted to the right to file. So I'm going to pass it here, article formatted. And if that file doesn't exist, if we don't have that file, we can create that file. So here, else we want to create that file first. So we want here to say function dot create file. Let me go back and check the name of the file. It's create new file. So create new file. Here, create new file, and then we pass the directory and the name of the file. So the complete path. So we pass, as we did with the other functions, we pass this line, and it's going to create the file, but we need to write to it. So after we create it, after we create that that new file, we need to call this function to write to it. So you can copy it and paste it here. And of course, you can write your logic differently. Instead of typing this line twice, you can just copy this line and remove it from the else, and also remove it from the if. And then you can add it outside, because either way we need to call it. So outside, I'm gonna call this right, and you can reformat that. So you can here say if function dot does file exist is false. If we don't have the file, then we need to create that file. Here, let me zoom out. We need to create that file. So the logic is the same, but you can write it differently. So here, as you can see, so the logic now, if we don't have that file, if that file does not exist, then we need to create that file, and then either way we need to write to it. We need to write something to it. But this line, or this block, this if statement, will only be executed once at the beginning. At the beginning, it will be executed once, because the first time we call this main scraper, there will be no files inside that common code. And then later it will just execute the write to file. So let's now test. Let me save, and let me run our script and see what's going to happen. So if I run our script, we have here a syntax error, so we need to fix that. Let me add this in the same line. Let me save and run our script one more time, and now it should work. And again, we have another error, which is here. It says here name error, name function is not defined. So we forgot in line 26, we forgot to add here functions, not function. It's plural functions. Let me save and run one more time. And don't worry about these errors. It's very simple, and it's good that you get these errors, because you will learn from these errors. So let me check what happened. If you go to the side here, the left side, if you check out the left side, you'll find that a new file inside our project and inside our common code project has been created called articles.txt. If you open it, you will find that now we have the URL and we have the title. And then we have the URL and we have the title. And then we have the URL, and then we have the title. So we have written our data to this script, which is awesome. And you can even, by the way, you can even add space here by passing at the end here. At the end, you can pass here a new line. So if you add here new line and save, and then if you remove everything, let me remove everything, and let me run our script one more time to show you that it's gonna work. As you can see, it's gonna work. And if you go back and if you head on over to the articles, you'll find now that the format is much better and it's readable. You can read it easily, and it can be read by anyone. It's just a URL and title, and the URL and the title.